Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Have You Played, where I'm going to show you some spoiler-free gameplay from a selection of older games and give you my thoughts on them. In this video I'm playing Sly 2 Band of Thieves, the second game in the Sly Cooper action-adventure stealth series, which released in 2004 and is considered by many to be one of the best PlayStation 2 games ever made.
Yeah, well, this is where things get fun.
Sly 2 Band of Thieves was a foundational game for me growing up. My first ever console was the PlayStation 2, and one of the first games I got for it was Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. And it's actually the game that taught me what the L3 and R3 buttons were, since when I was a kid, I didn't see any other buttons and assumed the game wanted me to hit L1 and L2 at the same time.
Jeez, I don't know.
Now, while Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is just an okay game objectively speaking, Sly 2 Band of Thieves managed to hone the first game's strengths to create a thoroughly enjoyable experience.
Glad you approve.
Band of Thieves picks up 2 years after the end of the first game and follows Sly Cooper and his partners in crime Bentley and Murray on a mission to track down the Claw Gang and steal back the scattered pieces of Sly's mechanical archenemy, Clockwork.
Is it inappropriate to refer to him as a monster? No, not at all. What kind of person stays alive for hundreds of years with the express intention of wiping out a rival's family line?
The game is split up into 8 chapters, and most of them will start with a recon mission where you'll stake out your target's facilities and take some photos so Bentley can formulate a plan.
Okay, fellas, the dominoes are all in place. Time to pull off the big heist.
And it's honestly a great way to start each chapter because it not only gives you a feel for the type of missions that you'll be playing, but it also gives you an idea as to how the levels will be structured out early on. After that, you'll be switching between Sly, Murray, and Bentley, depending on what the mission calls for, to get closer to your goal of taking back the Clockwork pieces from the Claw Gang. One of the draws of the Sly Cooper games is their personality, within the characters themselves as well as the environment. Sly himself is a quick-witted gentleman, so it's not hard to like him as a protagonist.
As good as that sounds, how about a dance first?
Enchanté.
But even the antagonists such as Dimitri, Rajan, and Carmelita have their moments where you'll find yourself smiling at their dialogue like it's a Saturday morning cartoon.
I have no idea what you're saying. And your suit sucks.
Oh, let's dance!
And that doesn't even cover the character development that Bentley and Murray go through, or how immersive some of the level designs are. Whether you're crawling around divines in India, wandering the streets of Prague, or jumping from rooftops in Paris, each area is distinct in its feel and is tied together in some beautiful yet dated cel-shaded graphics. Unlike in the Thievius Raccoonus, Band of Thieves allows you to free roam around levels between missions, giving you the opportunity to collect clue bottles, loot guards, or just mess around while picking up coins. Each character is already pretty strong in comparison to the average enemy, but at the safe house you can log on to the Thief Net where you can sell stolen loot and use those coins to purchase new upgrades and gadgets, such as a smoke bomb for Sly, or Fists of Flame for Murray. And you can get even more gadgets after finding all of the clue bottles in any given world and opening up their respective vault. And the collectible elements add a lot of replayability if you're itching to keep playing after finishing the main story missions. Outside of the normal gameplay, some missions will put you into different modes of play, including bird's eye view helicopter missions, or even dancing quicktime sequences. But a majority of the game sees you roaming around as Sly, Murray, or Bentley, going about their respective missions and putting them into some pretty memorable moments throughout the game.
Look, I can't talk now. I've got to keep moving, keep safe.
Sly himself is great for mobility and sneaking around, while Murray relies on brute strength, and Bentley uses more of a cloak and dagger approach to combat, mainly using explosives or sleep darts to incapacitate his foes. Of the three, Sly is the best to roam around as since he has so much more mobility than the other two, and can get to harder to reach places more easily. So if you're trying to collect clue bottles or get more coins, Sly is your guy. But each of the three feel great to play as, and you'll start to figure out your own style as you open up their skill sets. When it comes to the enemies, there's not a ton of variety, but they're varied enough to get the job done, with most of them being able to fall into one of 3 categories: flashlight guards, non-flashlight guards, and miscellaneous enemies. Flashlight guards are most dangerous with their projectile weapons, but they can't follow you onto rooftops. Non-flashlight guards are easier to defeat, but can be found on both the rooftops and the ground. And the miscellaneous enemies, they can range from snakes and pots to attack helicopters in the sky. But beyond the flashlight guards, the bosses, and some of the indestructible enemies like the tanks in Prague, they won't really give you too much trouble as long as you're paying attention. Another quick thing I want to talk about is the music, because most of the tracks are really great and iconic to the series. Prior to working on this review, I don't think I've touched the game in about 8 years, but as soon as I walked into Dimitri's nightclub, all of the music came flooding back into my head and reminded me just how much the tracks enhance the gameplay. Band of Thieves is 20 years old now, so graphically it's a little bit dated, and minor issues like a Comic Sans adjacent font and awkward fourth wall breaking dialogue can disrupt your immersion.
If memory serves, you need to jump and hit the circle button to run along ropes.
But one of the bigger issues the game has is the camera's tendency to get stuck on physical objects, often leading to unfair deaths or getting caught by guards because you were unable to see where you were going. Furthermore, some of the missions definitely overstay their welcome, and in the case of the turret sequences, can lack a proper aiming reticle and make them really frustrating to complete.
The Murray Triumphant!
Beyond that, the only other things you could really complain about are some minor clipping issues or enemy AI behavior. So overall, Sly 2 Band of Thieves holds up still, and it's a game I'd recommend to new and seasoned gamers alike, despite a few frustrating missions and a somewhat dated appearance.
No one likes to have their affections played with.
I know I certainly don't.
I am a little sad that Sony hasn't really done anything with the Sly Cooper IP since the fourth game came out in 2013 and the first three were remastered in 2014, but I have no doubt that a remake of the games could be incredibly successful, especially since Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus has reportedly been so well received as a PlayStation Plus premium game, and even more so since Sucker Punch has a great track record, but I'm still holding out hope for a fifth game sometime in the future.
All right, pal. Let's get to it.
As always though, this is just my opinion. If you're just starting out in your thieving career, or if you've already taken down the Claw Gang, let me know in the comments what you thought of Sly 2 Band of Thieves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
And to every home slice down in the special big money-making room, the nicest of jobs there, man, I tell you. Keep post steaming ahead with my new clockwork printing plates. All of us retire early. You picking up on what I'm throwing down? Peace out.